Hello and welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
And I am Tayo Salam. Many thanks for joining us again. All right, so starting off the show with the Nigerian Nightmare, Kamaru Usman. On Sunday morning, very early Sunday morning, retained his welterweight title by beating Covington in their grudge rematch. And the question we're asking this morning is, who's next for the Nigerian Nightmare? Seems to be clearing out the welterweight division. So what are his plans for the immediate future? We'll be dissecting all of that on the show this morning.
Who is next? I think that's biggest. He has just fought the biggest. We'll wait and see who his next opponent will be in the welterweight division. Also on the program, it was a big blow for Liverpool after more than 25 games and 7 months. Liverpool finally lost, and it was West Ham who had to deal them that huge hammer blow.
Indeed, huge hammer blow coming from David Moyes' men right now. That victory is taking them above Liverpool in the Premier League table. Also on the program this time around in tennis, we've got a double record breaker on our hands this morning. Novak Djokovic, just a day after earning the year as world number one for the 7th straight time, which is a record, went on to win a 37th Masters 1000 crown as well, too, by defeating Daniil Medvedev in the final of the Paris Masters. Double record breaker, Cecilia. What more can we say about this absolute legend?
Right now, he is the best in the world, and of course, arguably the greatest tennis player of all time.
Indeed.
Okay, and it was almost like a revenge for him after what happened at the US Open. It was Daniil Medvedev who prevented him from having all 4 calendar Grand Slam. And so this time around, he needed this, and he got what he wanted. But we're not starting with tennis yet. Of course, we're starting with the NBA results coming from what happened last night, especially with the Milwaukee Bucks floundering and having Brooklyn Nets flying, and of course Warriors also flying. But then these are the games for you.
All right, let's start off with the Nets and the Raptors. Kevin Durant returned to Toronto for the first time since that terrible injury when he was playing for the Golden State Warriors a few years ago. Returned, was a terrible moment in his career, but returned on a winning note this time around with the Brooklyn Nets with a 116-103 victory over the Toronto Raptors, who come to that game later on. That's our feature match for the NBA. Elsewhere, the Knicks lost against the Cleveland Cavaliers 126-109. Ricky Rubio with a career-high 37 points in that victory. The Utah Jazz surprisingly lost against Orlando Magic 107-100. Cole Anthony with 33 points in the victory for Orlando. The Bucks are struggling, Cecilia. Struggle continues for Milwaukee. They lost against the Wizards 101-94. Bradley Beal
lost in 6 games.
Not good at all. Not good at all. They need to wake up as soon as possible. The Kings were in action against the Indiana Pacers. It was Indiana that prevailed 94-91. Caris LeVert with 22 points in that victory. OKC Thunder also got a win. This time around, it was against the San Antonio Spurs 99-94. Mike Muscala with 20 points in 14 minutes to help OKC get that particular victory. The Warriors, they are on a roll. 122-107 over the Houston Rockets. Steph Curry, 20 points and 3 steals to help the NBA leading Warriors improve to 8-1 for the season. Their 4th victory in a row. And last but not the least, the Clippers, 120. Charlotte Hornets, 106. Paul George, 20 points. Reggie Jackson, 19 points for the Clippers in that victory. They've also won 4 in a row,
which is great for the Clippers. Okay, let's take a look at our star match for the day, which is, of course, Kevin Durant and Cole. Kevin Durant scoring 31 points in that game against the Toronto Raptors.
Fantastic.
Now, Brooklyn Nets is 7-3, winning 7 games and losing 3 this season so far.
Not bad at all. 5th win in a row. We just saw pictures there of James Harden and Kevin Durant. James Harden wasn't bad on the night as well, to score 16 of his 28 points in the 4th quarter. Blake Griffin also contributed in that victory for Brooklyn with 14 points and 11 rebounds. And Patty Mills, 13 points to help Steve Nash earn his first victory in his first game in Toronto as an NBA head coach. All right, so let's get post-game reactions coming from the camp of the Brooklyn Nets. First of all, we'll get to listen to Steve Nash first, and then Kevin Durant. That's the story of the game. Good first half, not so good second half, and that's why they ended up on the losing side. Let's take a look at the top performers before we leave the NBA and tell you about the guys that stood out for their teams. Starting with Kevin Durant, 31.7 rebounds and 7 assists, also had 7 turnovers as well, so it must be said. Anyways, didn't affect his team from getting that important victory. Cole Anthony, for the second time this season, Cecilia, this guy is actually having a ball at the moment. 33 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists for the Orlando Magic in their stunning win over the Utah Jazz. Ricky Rubio, your guy, 37, 3 and 10 for his team as well too in their own victory. And last but not the least is Bradley Beal, 35 and 8. You're welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. Oyewuchi Nwachukwu has now joined us for the second half of the game. You're welcome, Oyewuchi.
Yeah, that's a super sub.
Yeah. We'll see what you got for us. We'll see what you got for us for the next 4 to 5 minutes or thereabout.
Cecilia back.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoy your vacation.
Yeah, it was nice. It was great.
It wasn't bad, right?
Yeah.
All right. Austin Okunakman is also ready to join us from our London studios. Austin, good morning. Welcome to the show once again.
It's for the greatest to you, Taya.
Indeed. All right, so let's just go straight into...
In standing.
Indeed. I kind of missed what you said, Austin. Can you come again, please?
No, so I said, Oyewuchi Nwachukwu says he is the super sub.
Okay.
So let me be the coach.
Fair enough. Coach Austin all the way from our London studios. Let's get straight, continue the show. Before we get to Kamaru Usman, let's quickly tell you all about Canelo Alvarez, who made boxing history over the weekend by becoming the first super middleweight champion of the world. Knocked out Caleb Plant in the 11th round. And Austin, we said it on Friday that there was only going to be one outcome, and it was a Canelo win, and it panned out to be just exactly like that.
I know, Tayo, you know, and I was trying to give Caleb Plant some, you know, respect because he was undefeated.
Yeah.
And he could have been the more ambitious guy, beats Canelo, you get out of the ring with all the belts. But we know this Mexican is so unstoppable. He kept going at it. At the first 2 rounds, Plant tried to make a statement. His reach was, you know, being used effectively, but Canelo was reading properly. And by the 11th, you know, he couldn't, you know, Plant couldn't go on again. So Canelo becomes the first undisputed world super middleweight champion. And Tayo, you know what? He unified all 4 belts in fewer than 12 months.
Remarkable.
Respect.
Respect. Indeed, 4 belts. We're going to see the pictures of coming from Canelo after that fight. 4 belts. I mean, you wonder if he might not be needing someone to help him carry those belts around from time to time because of the quite heavy straps. He must be said, Canelo Alvarez. And he said afterwards that he just wants to enjoy his latest achievements, and because a lot of people are saying, what's next for him now? You've unified the division, you've won all of the belts in the middleweight, super middleweight division. Are you going to step up to perhaps light heavyweights or go into cruiser? I don't think that's very likely. So we're just going to sit back and watch Canelo Alvarez just enjoy his time under the sun as arguably the greatest pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And Oyewuchi, I'm not sure you're surprised by this result at all.
No, not surprised. Like also said, I mean, this guy has been absolutely ruthless, you know, and 4 titles, defending and unifying the titles in a record period shows that he's quite prepared mentally and physically, and is ready to take on any opponent. But I want to see him maybe
Step up again,
Yeah,
really?
you need to step up.
He's been stepping up already. He's the 4th division world champion. You want him to go to a 5th?
Why? What are you doing? You have conquered that division, so you move up.
But
Like Usyk did, he went to the heavyweight and he defeated.
Austin is
sometimes when that's your specialty, I mean, that's who he is. I mean, best pound for pound fighter, and that's where he wants to stay. And if you check the way he's been fighting, I mean, Austin mentioned that under 12 months, he's got all 4 belts. I mean, who has done that before?
No one does
I mean,
that.
it's hard. Even if you've heard about, he's a 6th boxer right now to be able to do, I mean, unification bouts and everything, having all 4 belts. But then they've not been able to do it, I mean, under 4 months. So, which is a remarkable one for him. I was just thinking we'll see pictures, you know, of the particular fight. I mean, and just see his triumph, him saying that he's really obviously going to enjoy the bout, enjoy the victory, and he's not thinking about anything else. But I think he needs to rest. That's the thing. He needs to rest because he's been fighting for like
absolutely.
I mean, it's
Come on.
He's like, I don't know how to describe him. He's a lion or something, and then he will come out clean and say if he never went into the ring.
He does sustain the momentum. Maybe because of his nature, the way he is, he capitalized on that momentum to win those fights. Maybe if he had rested a bit, he wouldn't have been able to sustain the form.
I mean, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
This one man, all of these belts. It's remarkable. Saul Canelo Alvarez, think about wherever you are. Take your chill time out now. Enjoy your latest success. And hopefully we get to see you in the ring again next year.
No,
all right.
2023.
Really? 1 year break?
Yes, take 1 year break. He's 31 already. Take 1 year break. Stay with your family and the Mexican and then come back in 2023 and see what you got for us. Maybe he's going to move up in the division. Maybe cruiserweight. We'll see if that will happen. Okay, now let's go to UFC, Mixed Martial Arts. And of course, it's all about Kamaru Usman. He's still, I mean, who is next? We don't even know yet,
Yeah, we don't know.
I mean, he's done everything. He's beaten all the big guys. And then against Covington, it was always going to be one winner. Even if, I mean, everyone was saying that it's going to be a very tough one for him. But then it was a unanimous decision. I mean, all the judges scoring 48, 47, 48, 47, 49, 46. I believe before that 5th round, you know, he could have knocked out. Of
course, he had 2 knockdowns in the second round.
But somehow, he's a strong man. He stood up and continued fighting. He didn't want to go down without fighting.
Exactly, especially when it was a rematch. And Colby, a lot of credit has to go to him. Austin, Colby Covington making the match very competitive after the 2nd round when we thought Kamaru was going to get him out of the place. But a lot of credit to Chaos, right?
A lot of credit to the American side. You know, I told you that the sort of trash talks he was doing, the vibes he was giving us before the fight was to hype himself, and it paid off real good. Particularly the level of bravery, courage he showed in that fight. For some fighters, with the way Kamaru Usman rocked him in round 1 and 2, it would have been over in 3. He came back in 3 and then started fighting like a lion, you know. Went to 4. To an extent, a lot of people gave him round 4. And then round 5, the championship round, was incredibly close. I love the fact that they made that fight, you know, really competitive, you know. And then it just goes to stamp the undisputed status of Kamaru Usman. Dana White has come out to say, look, this guy is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world and the best in the division. I like the caption we used, who's next? Because, I mean, he's beating everyone, and he cannot move to, you know, the next division because Israel Adesanya has the belt. And the champ says it's better for 2 Nigerians to keep 2 belts than 1 Nigerian having 2 belts. So he says he's staying, you know, where he is in the welterweight division. And he joked about Dana White coming up with, you know, irresistible cash, but I don't think he's going to do that. But, Tayo, I'm not happy with Colby Covington again. This morning, let Covington just come out and accept. He was talking trash about Kamaru Usman and the injection marks on his stomach.
Come on.
Kamaru Usman not being clean and all of that. Come on, you've been beaten twice. What else?
What else? What else, man? Kobe just shut it.
But he said something about we haven't seen the best of him yet. I mean, after that bout, I'm like, what are you going to come up with? Because he says he's going to get back into the gym. He's going to ask for a trilogy or something.
No.
That's not a possibility. So what else do we want to see?
He's going to have to work his way back to, you know, perhaps getting a trilogy bout against Kamaru Usman. This Colby guy, Yeah, it says a lot of crass stuff. There's no doubt about it. But he's lost twice in a row now, convincingly against the champ. I was interested to hear the UFC president, Dana White, say afterwards that if Kamaru doesn't exist or didn't exist, Colby will probably be the welterweight champion of the world. But unfortunately, he's going to have to play gatekeeper as long as Kamaru is still fighting.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, those are the best two, if you look at it.
Yes.
This is the second time they're going to fight. The first time, Kamaru Usman knocked him out in the 5th round. But this time around, they went all the way. So it shows that perhaps Covington has also improved in his game. And the Kamaru Usman starts intimidating. I mean, this is... He has fought 5 times to retain this title. 5 times, three different fighters, and he has won. So he's whatever Covington is saying is trash. The
Trash
statistics
again.
they are there. Talk is cheap.
Yeah,
you have to prove it in the ring. If he wants another, like a trilogy, then he has to go back to the gym and fight, and be train very well and see if at least he has improved. He was knocked out in the first match.
Yeah.
The second match, he went all the way. Maybe he could do something in the 3rd match.
Or you get beaten in round 2.
Or get beaten, mercilessly.
All right, so Kamaru Usman, 15 wins in the UFC now. 15 straight wins, which is the second longest streak behind only Anderson Silva, the Spider, one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time. He has 5 title defenses, like we said, and is chasing the welterweight record of 9 set by GSP. GSP, of course, one of the greatest fighters in UFC history as well. And Austin, before we leave Kamaru Usman, let me just come back. I'll come back to you as well, too, but let me ask you as well, too, because Kamaru, for the first time when he was asked after this fight if he was interested in fighting Israel Adesanya, that's in the middleweight, and perhaps going for a second title. All this while, this is not the first time, but most times when they ask him, it's always a categorical no. But this time around, he said no still, but
if the money
is right, like let's say the promoters bring $100 million, 50-50 for each fighter, he's going to have a sit down with Israel and say, guy, man, we need to talk about this. Like, I mean, and that would make sense. What's the $50 million?
It really has to come to that,
but will it come to that?
It can.
100 million quid.
Then you go to the ring. If Austin was saying both of them are Nigerians, Israel, and Kamaru Usman are Nigerian. Yes, that emotion have been there, but at this level, I mean, he has
business.
It's going to be business.
Yeah.
Look at the blood he shed every time they fight. So
exactly.
You are not going to do that for
too long.
For national pride or for emotion. So you're going to go there and fight and make more money.
Okay.
And how many years is he going to be in the ring? So you need to make a lot of money so that when you grow older, you have something to fall back on.
Indeed. Austin, last word for you on this one. A potential Israel Adesanya Kamaru Usman fight in the middleweight division.
I don't see it happening, Tyler.
Yes.
I looked at his body language. I listened to his tone, When he chipped that entire, he said, when they asked him the question, are you going to improve to the middleweight? He said, nah, I've said this a lot of times.
Yeah.
As long as Israel Adesanya is the champion in that division, then it makes no sense. And then maybe he came in, he said, unless Dana White wants to sit down with us and give us an offer that is irresistible, he now said, maybe I'll then call up Israel.
Yeah.
I said, what do you think about this, bro? Can we split it 50-50 and make some money? But I saw some jokes in that, Tyler, so I don't think it's happening. Kamaru Usman looks like someone who is bonded by his words. So he loves the fact that there are 2 Nigerians ruling in the UFC, and I don't think yeah, no money answers all things, but at this stage, I don't think so.
Money talks. Austin, if Dana White brings $50 million for each fighter, trust me, they will get in that cage. Forget brotherhood, forget all of that talk. Anyways, also, we need to carry on with the show now.
I was going to ask if you are doing a Kamaru Usman show or something like that.
Exactly. So, yeah, we need to get on with the show now. Cecilia, where are we going next now?
Let's talk about basketball quickly. We're expecting the Final 8 to be in Lagos, but right now, it will no longer be in Lagos because you know what's happening in MBBF with the whole drama going going on. Of course, no election yet. And so the sports ministry had to take over. And as a result, the final 8 that we wanted to see in Lagos will not be happening in Lagos. It's going to be happening in Abuja. Yes, Lagos basketball fans would have wanted it to happen. But then sometimes it's just not going to be, because according to the sports ministry, they said they've concluded their plans that it's going to be holding in Abuja. And not only that, it's going to start on the 11th of this month. As just 11th is around the corner. Today is 8th. Yeah. So by this weekend, it will be starting. And not just that, all the teams will have to be in Abuja by November 8th. And we know we have the teams already qualified for the final 8. There you have them. You have a reminder of these teams. Rivers Hoopers, they're there. Kwara Falcons, you have Lagos Islanders, Police Baton, Kano Pillars, Gombe Bulls, and Nigeria Customs. These are the teams. Benue Braves is also part of the team that will be taking place. So from 11th to 18th, that's when it will be happening. And of course, the winner of the final 8 will be representing Nigeria at the Basketball African League, which will be happening later next year, which is happening next year, yeah? But another thing is, which let me quickly come to you. Remember the last time when Rivers Hoopers went for, earlier this year, when they went for the Africa Basketball League, we're like, okay, they didn't have much games. And this time around, they played how many games? Just about 8 or 16. And then the final 8. So it's going to be the same thing. And then you're asking yourself, when will NBBA really get it right and be serious about basketball? Now the ministry are taking over, just for them at least to compete. And let's have someone, let's have a team that will go to the continent.
Cecilia, I think all this, what is happening now is not good for the psychology of the basketball players. You know, when you are going to a tournament, you are supposed to be focused. The venue, the timing, everything should be right. So you already have in your subconscious, this is where we're going to play. The environment. Look at what happened to Rivers Angels. It's the same thing. They almost got stranded there. They got 24 hours to Egypt and got beaten. You know, we shouldn't be talking soundly. We shouldn't be. These are athletes, and they shouldn't be used as tools, you know, as pawns for politicking. And we wanted the playoff to be in Lagos. Now it has been taken to Abuja for obvious reasons. We all know the reasons. We don't want to talk it here. But it's high time all these issues are settled for the sake of the athletes. Because they are the most important characters in sports.
100%.
Austin, your thoughts on this one before we move to the Premier League, especially talking about the Manchester Derby and also Antonio Conte?
So, you don't want to talk about it in Lagos. I'll talk about it from London. Yes. Leadership problems
go ahead.
with basketball in Nigeria must be fixed. Enough is enough. Everybody needs to sit back now and say, look, no more selfish ambitions. Let us, respect the laws of the game. Let us respect professionalism. Let us put players first. The only good thing about this final 8 is that it is still holding,
Yes.
And that's a good one for the players and the clubs because they need to be busy before they get onto, play at the BAL or any other continental or international competition. But let's use this morning again to say to everyone that is involved with basketball administration in Nigeria, say wake up, do the right things, and let's get basketball winning again.
Yes.
Yeah. Wake up and let's get it winning again.
Yeah, let's get basketball going again.
There's even no women's league. This 2.
Oh, Cecilia.
Okay, you know what? Talk for another day.
Yeah, let's talk for another day, exactly.
That's the elite level. We are focusing on the grassroots level now. There's a problem with the elite level. So let's talk about the grassroots. At least you have a problem at the elite level. Try and solve that. Then what about the local level? What's happening?
Cecilia,
so it's a whole lot. We won't live here. Maybe one day we need to have a basketball show and see if we can trash out all the issues
trust
happening.
me, one day it's not going to be enough. One show, it's not going to be enough.
One show, not enough. Okay, quickly, let's run through results of what went down in the Premier League on Sunday. Basically, we'll focus on that because Antonio Conte had his first game. But then, there's no shot, right? On goal from his players. Okay, that game ended goalless. But other result, Arsenal. Now, for Manchester United fans who were having a laugh at the beginning of the season, I think they need to keep quiet now and go to church and maybe put their jersey on the altar and start praying. Tables turned. Arsenal now above United after winning out against Watford. Everton and Tottenham ended goalless. Leeds and Leicester ended 1-0. And, of course, West Ham hammering Liverpool by 3 goals to 2. Showing how to beat Liverpool after they haven't lost in 25 games and 7 months. But we need to go on a break quickly. When we come back, we'll be talking about the Manchester Derby and also the goalless game between Everton and Tottenham. right, that's not what he wanted. Yeah, he loved the one against Tottenham. But since then, he was given 3 match ultimatum, right? He's won one, drew one, and he lost another one. And the manner in which he lost the Manchester Derby is what everyone should be afraid of. What's going to happen to Manchester United this season? Should only go, because maybe if you're looking at what happened, maybe 5 over 10, he's got a pass mark. At least he won one, drew one, and lost one. Austin, your thoughts on Ole staying at United and, of course, their display against Manchester City on Saturday before we let you go?
I've concluded that it is marriage. What Ole and Manchester United have can only be marriage. You can only see this sort of love and tolerance in marriage. Because, you know, right after that defeat to Manchester City, the calls became louder that, look, this guy has taken Manchester United as far as he can, because that 2-0 loss at Old Trafford is coming less than a fortnight that they got humiliated by Liverpool 5-0. And when you lose it to your bigger, to your bitter rivals, then you're beginning to lose your status and quality as a big team, you know? Manchester United just 4 points from their last 6 matches. And it doesn't look like this team, you know, will improve. So I don't know, Cecilia. I've looked around. What could be the reason that Manchester United are holding on to Ole? What sort of plan, what sort of PowerPoint presentation is it giving to the owners that is making them believe that there's light at the end of the tunnel? It's not looking good at the moment for Manchester United. And I don't just know. But I've looked around. I'm saying, who can they bring to take, you know, to replace Ole? If they sack him, maybe that's also a problem, because you don't want to go bring another big manager and the team starts struggling.
But they're struggling already.
They might just do a joker, bring back Alex Ferguson, you know, from now to the end of the season, because I don't know. This Manchester United, you know, situation is so worrying, and I'm trying not to make it my business. But in conclusion, what Ole and the Glazers family have is nothing but marriage.
A wedding that is hard to actually separate. You know what you need to go through before you can divorce your partner. Maybe it's going to be so hard for them to let him go. Finding the right manager, as you mentioned, might be difficult. But they have the players. And let me ask you, Austin, quickly, before we talk about West Ham. I mean, we've seen the way they perform against Tottenham. Yes, at that time, Tottenham were not even a team you can even talk about. Against Atalanta, we saw it. But against Liverpool and City, the same Liverpool that Hammers tore apart, we'll talk about that shortly. Now, if you look at the way they played against City, was it too much respect for it? Or maybe they are no longer playing for the manager? Because you see the likes of Fernandes, they don't even go for the loose balls anymore. They're just acting as if nothing is happening, as if they were showing too much respect to their opponents during the game.
I think there's this talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer trying to cover up, you know, the inadequacies of certain players. You know, if these players are not doing well, you keep them on the bench. You bought Jadon Sancho, you bought Van der Beek, you are not using them. So why? You know, but some players are not doing well. Why don't you keep them on the bench? You try to, you know, rejig the formation to keep them in the starting 11, and that's where the problem is. You played 3 at the back against Tottenham. It worked because Tottenham have been poor,
of course,
you know, this season. And then you played the same formation against Man City. Very easy to
figure out.
Yeah. Because, like Pep said, they just play with the ball, they tease you, they frustrate you, you chase them around, you are already dissipating energy. At the end of the day, when they want to strike, they score. The difference between Liverpool and Man City is that Liverpool have players who are hungry to score goals. Sadio Mane, Firmino, Salah. But Man City will just make you so useless. They play around, tickle you, you know, move the ball around. You are just chasing shadows. You know.
Training section indeed. Quickly, Austin, on the game between Tottenham and Everton. I mean, it was Antonio Conte's return. You know, his first game in the Premier League, it ended goalless. Can he turn things around with Tottenham?
I think he can. You know, I've been listening to him in the media. His show of optimism is admirable. He's saying that he wants to bring back entertaining football to White Hart Lane. He wants to do a lot to the mentality of the players, get them to winning status again. We were waiting for him in England. If he had not won, if he had lost that game against Everton, then by now he would have been backing, because the media would have come so hard, you know. So it wasn't a win, it wasn't a loss, it was a draw, you know. So let's see where they go from here. Up next for them in the league is Leeds United. That's another tricky tie. That will test the character of the team also. But I strongly believe the problem with Tottenham is a mental one. Someone needs to get into the psychology of the players, you know, tell them, look, you got to start winning again. You need to start doing those things that will give you the respect that you deserve in the league.
Okay, in 30 seconds, West Ham showing everyone how to beat Liverpool. What do you think?
Cecilia, I don't know what else to say again about football. West Ham has shown us that each time you want to talk about football like you know it, you get stunned. And, you know, I always tell you guys that they are now third on the log. Look at the way they approach that Liverpool game. You start wondering, where did they get that tenacity from? You know, they are scoring goals. They don't respect big teams. They play offensive. They're trying to also defend so well. And if you check the stats, out of 11 games, they've won 7, drawn 2, and lost 2. Look, it's unbelievable. This is West Ham. And look, Tayo and Cecilia and Oyenwuchi, what I love about this team, they continued from where they stopped last season.
Yep.
And it's not just in the league. They're also getting good results in the Europa League. Take about David Moyes, the same Moyes that was criticized and pushed aside at Manchester United, now getting all of us to talk. Football is crazy.
It's crazy indeed, Austin.
Love it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much, guys. Always a delight to be on the show. Thank you.
All right, catch you soon.
All right.
Okay.
Your thoughts quickly on the West
Let's
Ham
take a
and
look at the
Liverpool. Look at the papers.
They play with so much belief.
Yeah.
The confidence level is high.
Yeah.
And, you know, David Moyes, I think he's reaping the reward of his. I was just looking at his stats yesterday in the office from Preston North End. In 1998, he went to Everton to Manchester United. He was sacked. Went to Real Sociedad. He was sacked. He came back. You know, he was free for some time.
Came to West Ham.
And came to West Ham. He's doing so well. And he has retained the core of the team since last season. And the players believe in him. They are playing with so much flair. So they are dangerous to play against.
Yeah,
you know, I told someone before that game that Liverpool, any team that wants to play West Ham, you know, must have to be very, very prepared.
Title contenders. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the papers right now. I'll start with Complete Sports. Yes, I'll start with Complete Sports. And this big one you have, Uzo is out as Eagles camp open in Tangiers. What happened? He's injured.
John Noble is
in
called up
for this one. And Kamaru Usman says, I'm the pound for pound best alive right now. I mean, that's a fact, so no one can take it from him. Undisputed. Eagles Euro roundup, you have that on Complete Sport. You have Aribo fires Liberia strong warning with a goal and also an assist. And Sporting Life, which is your paper, so we'll talk more about this one. Into the returns, the NHL bench, Lookman denied by VAR, that's that game. And of course, you also have a club wanted Cavani at Liverpool this summer. Okay, since United don't know how to use him. Okay. Okereke, ninth winner for host, and Joe Aribo, of course, ends goal drought. Okay, which one get you talking here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Sporting Sun. Transfer move. Man United returns to Ndidi. What do you think? Yeah.
The story has always been a recurring decimal. You know, when you look at the Manchester United squad now, you begin to wonder if, I mean, they really need a player like Ndidi. We've talked about the backline not being shielded. Maguire has not pulled his weight. A lot of talks about not having sense of urgencies, very slow on the ball. And if you look at the previous matches, he has been dispossessed at very critical, you know, points in the game, which led to Man United conceding. So, if they really want a player like Ndidi, I think it's in the right direction.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. We'll see.
Uchi, thank you so much for coming on the program.
My pleasure.
All right.
Thank you all for watching as well. Enjoy the rest of your day. I am Tayo Salam.
And I'm Cecilia Mogbe. See you tomorrow.